Hard to love. Why modern women are hard to love. Now, for me, I always come from a biblical angle. That's just my perspective of the word. And so you need to know that before we get into this subject matter. Let's talk about it. Hard to love. Now, love in the mind of a woman is very different to the mindset of a man. To a woman, most of the time, when you say, what does love mean to you? It's euphoric. It's a beautiful feeling. It's being swept off your feet. It's been treated like a goddess. It's been, treated like a princess. It's been given everything. It's been pampered. These are some of the attributes that they would say love is: feeling safe, secure, provided for, a soft life. That's what love is to most women. There may be other things I have not mentioned. Now, to a man, love has not changed very much. I know we're not in the primitive eras that where we had to go and hunt and protecting it, kill animals to protect our household, our women and children. But things have not changed as far as the expectation, and the biological makeup of a man still remains the same to provide and protect regardless of the society that we live in, even though most women be boss babes and everything else. So, what does it mean to love for a man? Love for a man has always been sacrificial, meaning, are you willing to die for this woman? Is this chick worth dying for? That's what it comes down to. That's the extreme. And you look at the biblical perspective, you have the Messiah. He loves the people. He comes and dies for them to demonstrate that he loves them. So the love is not verbally just expressed, it's demonstrative. So that's an example. And if we look at the biblical perspective, where the hierarchy is that you have the Most High, and you have man, and you have the woman, and everything. I know women don't believe in this hierarchy, even though those are in the church sector, they don't believe in that. But the point I'm trying to make in this video is that why it's dangerous for a man to love a modern day woman, because his love demands a great deal of sacrifice as of old times. The element of provision remains constant regardless of the modern day times. We live in a time of equality, so to speak. It's not equal. We know that as men. But women are defiant and believe that things ought to be equal. I make my own money, I make my own bag, and I don't cook, I don't clean. So the man, for him to step out of his own safety, his own sanctuary of peace, or whatever he's up to, and love on a woman, and then draw that woman to his own life, it's dangerous because she does not have to subscribe to his program. Like, she doesn't have to be on his program. Okay, so that's why it's dangerous. That's one of the reasons. It's dangerous because the woman that you fall in love with, because you are operating on a primitive program. Because men, we're always going to be primitive. We lead. When we got a little bit of money, we want to attract the best mate. We want to settle down with her. We want them to have a few babies for us. That's just a normative thing that's been going on since the beginning. We may be living in the almost 2025 right now, but the programming of a man is been the same. And men are more leaning conservative more than before, in the past 5 to 10 years. So now, why is it dangerous for modern day women? Is because women now have surpassed the desire to be pleased. What used to make women happy no longer makes them happy. You could marry a woman and you could have a nice house, a nice car, but because of social media and the external influences, that will satisfy only for a period of time. We have examples of regular men getting divorced, getting hit right, left, and right, and center. I got a friend who's a lawyer, divorced. I got a friend is a tradesman, he's divorced. Okay, we have examples of people in the media. We have Tyrese, we have Papoose, we have Bill Gates. So what has occurred to the modern day woman is because she has been shown a fantastical dream, almost like a make-believe world, So when she is in a situation where she should be happy, somebody comes along and says, and opens up the curtain and says, look at all of that. Look at those stars. You can be with the stars. So then the man that she's with becomes insufficient, superfluous, unnecessary, because she can be with the NBA player. She's with a plumber, but she can be with the NBA player. She's a stripper, but she can be with a footballer. So women have been shown the illusion of the possibility. Now, none of these things they don't have to eventuate, but she'll learn that lesson later. But in the meantime, she's happy to destroy the relationship that is sound, which you as a man are very thoroughly invested in. You are plowed in. Your clothes are dug deep. This is my woman. And unfortunately, one of the worst phrases, it's the best phrase because it illustrates what time it is, but it's one of the worst phrases against women. She's not yours, it's just your turn. She's not yours, she's for us. Those are two phrases. She's not yours, it's just your turn. Now, the unfortunate part is we don't like the ideal thing is when the men are in have a sense of ownership, they will protect and they'll love on. But when you love in this time is the end time we're in, it's super dangerous for you. Why? Because you're giving yourself to somebody who's very changeable, who's been presented with optionalities that may not necessarily be real or true, but nonetheless they are real in her mind. So it's dangerous for you because you're going to love in a primitive sense. You're going to be all in, dug in, and the extremities that will occur to you. What are the extremities? A child support, 18 years. A divorce, alimony, and whatever it is that comes along with it. Loss of assets and everything else. That's what your love can take you. That's where your love can take you. We should be looking at love from a negative angle, but for men, it seems like a sum that loses you. Now, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, and I'm speaking on this because I'm dealing with a lot of men who are broken. I won't lie, I'm dealing with a lot of men. And whenever I get hit with these stories, I come along here and just put it out here because it needs to be said. It's a risk for a man to be in love, but it's a win for a woman to be in love because if she can convince a man that he loves her, she loves him, it's a win for her because from then on, no matter where she is, she could be literally just selling, like random things on Facebook Market, but her life could be upgraded crazily. Think about all the women that dated athletes. They were nobodies. They were just struggling people, and they became super. And if we think about the amount of men that are online, like the amount of men in the world that become pro athletes, very few, right? And the amount of women that are nobodies that become somebody just because of, attaching themselves to somebody who is important. Now, even at the base level of middle class, there's a lot of women that they are really nobodies. I used to have a friend. She dropped out of school, but she was gorgeous. She was working as a waitress. A guy was selling boutique homes with high commissions. Said, "Hey, you want to work in my real estate firm?" I can't talk, and that was purely because of her looks. So, the message I'm trying to highlight here is men, because we love in a primitive sense. We come out this with all we got. Unless you're a player, you're an F boy. Most of us, we're genuine, we're sincere. We don't have time for games. And that's why most men, they walk away from all of this and say, hey, you know what, I'm done, I'm tired. Deep down, we really want something substantial. That's why guys got passport bureaus trying to find something substantial elsewhere. But the danger part of us is we're still primitive in our love, and that's never going to change. But modern women, the optionality of TikTok, and it's not genuine optionalities. It's just the fact that it's there being presented as an alternative. A girl you could be providing your all, your heart and soul being given over to her. But somehow there'll be a dissatisfaction because of what she's seen online. Unless this is disbanded, unless that's deleted out of her mind, she's seeing her friends enjoy a better life. A girl could see somebody who's, you're like, oh, she's not as attractive as I am, and she's going to desire that lifestyle. And the best, your foot forward that you're giving for her, you could be making $120,000 a year, all of a sudden that's going to be insignificant because she's not happy anymore. So our happiness, somebody knows that women's happiness is predicated based on their awareness, their exposure. So a woman could be absolutely happy with a man who's making $40,000 a year. She's the happiest. And then if somebody exposes her to somebody who's making 65, she's gonna feel less than. And then somebody exposes her to somebody who's making 100,000, then she's gonna feel less than. So for as long as there's more exposure, there's gonna be dissatisfaction. So as long as TikToks and all these platforms exist, it's a losing game. So that's the big danger of a man falling in love with a modern day woman. I know I'm ranting on quite a long while, but I want to bring this point home. Unfortunately for us, we dig in with the desire that we want to find somebody who reasons and understands where we're coming from, and we plug in. But they plug in momentarily based on what's current, and then they jump on the platform and they say, "Girl, that's the bare minimum." And they're like, "Oh, you're like, guess what? I chose the Bears." They're like, "Oh, okay, me too. I'm gonna choose the Bear." And before you know, you get left, and you got sad eyes. You can't see your children if it was a marriage, children. If it's not, your ass has been broken up, and you're sad and depressed, and you can't function. It's a danger, unfortunately. Let the peace be found in that loneliness. Unless the Most High sends you somebody who's real, it's hard to gauge. Until then, if we ever dismantle all this chaos, then we can talk about it. But until then, we need to leave it alone. It's very dangerous for men to fall in love with a modern woman. Extremely dangerous, because what we get to lose is too much. Just think about it. If you impregnate a woman, it's 18 years of child support. 18 years is a long time. 18 years with the wrong person. To them, it's just like, oh, I didn't like him. Move on. She collects assets. She collects, it's your time. Your purpose gets derailed. I've said enough. All right. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and share. Get this word out. Peace, love, and blessings.